Hey guys, happy Saturday to you. Hey Krista, how are you doing this chilly, but yet warmer than it has been
Yeah,
January night?
I am doing actually fantastic. I really am. It's a
Good, good,
good
good.
night. Hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of a you know what? It was the first time in quite a while that the sun has been out here in St. Louis.
Hmm.
And I didn't realize that we had pavement on our street. We've had ice on the street for like a week now.
Right? Oh yeah, my
And
driveway's still full. It's ice now though because it melted some and it refroze.
yeah, yeah, we had all that ice and snow, and then I cleaned all that off. Well, most of the snow off, but then we got like 5 more inches of snow on top of that.
Hmm.
So it's just been crazy here.
Been awful.
Yeah, yeah,
I, I
and
I think I posted on Facebook that since December 20th, I've actually been in person to work 2 days
must be nice.
because of the weather and everything else. Yeah, it's been
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
So
So, hey guys, we have a great show tonight. We have Dan and Pete from Night Watchers Paranormal in Australia.
very
It
cool.
is summer over there, and they are getting a ton of rain. Um,
Wow.
but hey, we're gonna have them out here in just a few seconds. Actually, we're gonna have Dan. We're still waiting on Pete to pop in.
Mhm.
Um, but we'll get going here. A couple things I wanted to bring up real quick. If you guys saw Blondes and Booze last night, they gave away all kinds of stuff. We're still waiting on the people, she's still waiting on the people who won the walking stick, Texas shirt, and his smelly hat, and the Blondes and Booze T-shirt.
Yeah.
Um, if you could send Krista an email, please,
Yep.
with all
At
your
blondesandbooze@gmail.com. So
yeah.
that way we know who to get the prizes to.
Yes, and make sure you give them your real name,
That's right.
not just your
Yeah,
screen name.
and
So
there's several in there that did, like John, he did, and
yeah,
I heard from Smurfy. So there's a
hmm
few I did hear from. So
yeah,
and little Patty. Yeah.
little Patty,
Uh-huh.
and you got BJ. Um,
BJ, I heard from her. Yep.
got got that going, so I'll get that ordered here shortly.
Yeah.
So let's see here. We did that. Next thing I want to say is, guys, make sure that you're subscribed here and share this out. I'm getting close to 1,000 subscribers. I'm about
Mhm.
118, actually 116 away from it.
Yep.
So it'd be really cool to hit 1,000 here pretty soon.
And then
Um,
same thing. Once you do, Blondes and Booze will donate a couple T-shirts for the cause.
awesome, awesome. So cool. So, keep subscribing and make sure that you're subscribed and share this out with your friends. Going to have some pretty awesome guests. I'm kind of doing a little Australian tour here in
Cool.
the next little bit. I got Dan and Pete on, and then I'm going to have a few other feelers out there for people that I'm looking to get on from
Mhm.
Australia. So
That's
doing
awesome.
a little thing out there. Dan was saying, we were talking backstage, that they have all this rain, and why can't we just send this someplace that needs it, like Los Angeles and
Right.
everything? So, I mean, crazy stuff going on out there, lots of destruction,
Mhm.
and many thanks to all the firefighters and first responders out there. I mean, they do a hell of a
Yeah.
job just trying to keep people safe and evacuated and stuff.
Absolutely. Also, Gary, it looks like he said he would also donate another walking stick when you hit 1,000 subs. So
Awesome,
very cool.
Gary. Thank you. Thank
Very
you.
cool.
So
And
we'll
I'm
do
sure
another.
we talk some people, some others into giving.
Yeah. We'll do another spin the wheel giveaway
Mhm.
thing. So yeah, thank you very much, Gary.
Yeah,
And also, you know what? We have this really big event coming up in
we
September,
do. We
don't we?
do.
We need to talk about that.
It really it
Mhm.
just puked all over the place. It just blew up.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
That's the way to put it.
yeah. If you haven't heard already, the Crossing Realms Conference, September 19th and 20th at the Eagleton Civic Center in, Richmond, Missouri.
Mhm.
Um, Guys, it's going to be a fantastic night. Look at this lineup of guests. This is even an old slide. I haven't saved the other one.
I have the new one. Do
Oh
you
wait,
want
I
the
have
new
it. I
one?
have it here. I have it here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nope.
I don't.
Nope.
have the one where they're all
Oh, I got you. I'll fix you right up. Just keep talking.
okay. Again, get your tickets on Eventbrite. I have the Gary posted the link. I have it pinned to the
Mhm.
chat. So make sure you get your link. Here we go.
There you go. There it is.
I can't read. Oh, I can read that. So guest speakers include Josh Hurd, Heather Mosier, Will Lunsford, Lady Ann Celine, Ron Murphy, Dean Bertram, Greg Ogles, who, by the way, just had his documentary release.
Mhm.
It's awesome. Frankie and Dan from Haunted Garage, Haunted Souls. What?
From Haunted Souls and Haunted.
Yeah, Haunted Souls.
Part of both.
They're going to bring a haunted car to the conference. So get your tickets for that. That's going to be awesome. And then we have Sir Brian Bowden and Miguel Ramirez from the Sasquatch Theory here in Missouri, actually. Yeah. So those are all the guest speakers. That lineup is just fantastic right now. The special guests, Ken Gerhardt, Dana Stricker, Brent Thomas, Ryan Edwards, Mike Familiant, Chris Garantano, Linda Eastburn, and Dave Glidden are all going to be special guests. Yep. So, I mean, just come and see that.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. And I can't read this.
And it's sponsored by Doug Hychek with Monster Quest and Untold Radio, and also Para with the Normal. Mm-hmm. They're a lot of fun too. So and there's Mary Lynn Bess from Para with the Normal. She's going to be doing a gallery reading. Mm-hmm. So I mean, there is just there's just so much going on.
Yeah, and then the Ghost Hunt afterwards is also sold out.
It is.
Terry Mosby is going to be doing the Ghost Hunt with us, and man, it's going to be just an action-packed Friday and Saturday night for us.
Absolutely, it is. Yes.
Out in Richmond, Missouri. So make sure that you get your tickets there. Unfortunately, the Ghost Hunt is all sold out. But
we have plenty of tickets left for the Friday night meet and greet and for the conference. So the meet and greet, you get a really good bonus too, because we just keep adding stuff to it. But
we don't know when to stop.
No, we don't. That's why you guys got to hold me back. I'm just saying. But we just keep adding and adding, and we still got a couple hours of meet and greet that you get to talk with everybody. The main speakers and the special guest will all be there, so you can come and talk to all of them. We're going to serve you dinner. Then Miguel Ramirez from Sasquatch Theory is going to do a presentation on evidence, which will be really cool, because if you guys haven't watched Sasquatch Theory, go and subscribe. He's got some documentaries out there about the killing fields, which is really, really cool. And I don't know, I just like him, and he does good work. So he's going to be talking about that. And then our buddy Chris Garantano is going to be showing his film, which is wow, it's a fantastic one. And so it's just an action-packed Friday night, just saying.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. So make sure you get your tickets soon. We still have quite a while, but it's going to go by fast. I mean, this month is already flying by. So
yes,
get your tickets. Get your tickets.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Let's see who else we have. We have Tammy. Hi, Tammy Johnson. Hi, JoJo. Freaky's here. Andrea Poppin from Australia.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. All right. So without further ado, looks like he is ready, putting his headphones on right now. He's got his eyes wide. He wasn't quite ready, so let's give him a second.
He gave you a thumbs up. Yeah.
Dan, how you doing, sir?
Hello, how are we? Can you guys hear me okay?
We can hear you just fine. We can hear you just fine.
Yeah, the weather that I've got here at the moment is pretty bad, and it's making my internet very drop in and out. So you have to just bear with me.
No problem.
We'll do. It.
Did you make that out?
Yeah, probably a lot better than the weather we have here right now. So I think we'll take yours.
Yeah, gladly. The one thing that whenever I think of Australia, I would love to visit Australia. It's I would absolutely love to. But you guys have so many things over there that just want to kill you. the snakes and things like that. It's like,
Yeah. Well, we have 9 of the 11 most deadliest snakes in the world. I think it's 9 of the 11. I think it is.
yeah.
But yeah, it's like that. It's like that. Pretty much. People say to us, "How do you stay alive?" It's like, well, I think we're just used to it. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a
No
big
idea.
snake person. You guys can keep those down there.
Right.
Nah, man. No, they're cool. Don't like them either.
So we're waiting for Pete. I sent him a message. He said he's backstage. No, he's not backstage. No.
Yeah.
So
He said to me, I just sort of messaged from him saying that he was getting on. He should be on. I don't know what's going on. He's probably having troubles.
Maybe
getting on.
resend him the
Don't
link.
know why.
yeah, I'm gonna
But
send him the link again.
Normally, this is
But he's
pretty
also
easy for him
got
to do.
to remind him, like the first part, then he's got to go enter studio. He hasn't entered the studio probably. He could be
yeah.
sitting there.
Okay, hang on.
Tell him he's got to use Facebook, because it comes up asking to use YouTube or Facebook to get in. Tell him to click on Facebook and do it through that. He'll be trying to do it through YouTube, and it's just
Okay. All right. I sent it to him again, so we'll see what's up. So, Dan, while we're waiting for Pete, let's talk about, and you guys have some pretty interesting things coming up outside of Night Watchers Paranormal. So we'll get to that when Pete shows up. Let's talk about Night Watchers Paranormal a little bit.
Yep.
Tell everybody where we can find you real quick.
okay. We're on YouTube, so you can just go into the search bar and type in Night Watchers Paranormal Australia. You'll find us. Look, Pete and I have been going for about what have we started? Well, we technically started late 2019, mid 2019, but we didn't really kick off the Night Watchers side of things until 2020. So 5 years ish now that we've been doing Night Watchers. We're on to season 6 now of our show. But we've also got other videos on the side as well investigations. So we've got about 7.36 thousand subs now, which we're growing steadily. Steadily growing.
Sure.
It's not a fast growth, but it's a steady growth. And also being in Australia, the niche is a lot smaller than what it is, I suppose, in the States and things like that. So, but it is growing though. It is growing big time. Like the niche, here.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And the really kind of cool thing is I've noticed quite a few Australians in our chats on all of our platforms. I mean, we have Blondes and Booze, BMR, Texas Front Porch, everybody's. We all seem to have quite a few Australians in there. So, I'm like, you know what? It'd be kind of cool to have you back on. I mean, I looked at my Facebook feed, the memories, and it popped up just a few days ago that you were on almost exactly a year ago. So,
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like it was only a few months ago, but time flies, hey?
Yeah.
Well, I just went and subscribed to you.
Thank you very much. Lovely. Thank you very much, Krista. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, they do some pretty awesome stuff. Talk about some of the locations that you've been.
Okay, yeah. So earlier on in the piece, when Pete and I were together filming, because originally he was up here with me on the coast, and that's where we formed the channel, is here. And about 3 years ago, roughly, he moved down to South Australia, which is 3 or 4 states away. He moved over there, and so we film separately now, but we try and get together as much as possible. But earlier in the piece, we had some really cool locations up here. We had the Majestic Theatre, which is one of the world's longest running silent movie theatres. That place is very active, very haunted. We've done gold mining museums. That was a really good place to do. The military museum in Maryborough, that was a very good place to do. Very active. Those places are very active. You know, we did a special in for Halloween. We actually filmed it like God, nearly a year ago, and we had to put aside for a different project when we decided that we'll wait for that project, and we wanted to hurry up and get it out to show our followers and that. So that was the Hobart Penitentiary episode.
Wow.
In season 6 that we put up.
Yeah.
That place was very active. A lot of disembodied voices. We did a spirit board session there, blindfolded spirit board session with Pete and myself, and the planchette was moving big time. And you know, we both trust each other. We know that if we're going to go into something like that none of us are going to be pushing it. You know, neither him or I are going to be pushing it. And lo and behold, this thing moved, and it wasn't until Pete offered to keep the board open, like to stop the session and keep the board open, and it started moving. Here he comes. Here he comes.
Sorry, guys. Trying to actually log in was crazy. Good morning. How are we? Oh,
good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Pete. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Very nice to meet you.
So everybody, this is Pete down here. He's co-creator of Night Watchers Paranormal Australia. Pete, thank you as well for joining us today. Or
thanks for having us
this morning or whenever. It's Sunday morning over there, as some of you. You know, there's quite a few Australians in chat now. So,
oh wow,
what time is it over there?
It is nearly lunchtime, 12 o'clock.
Oh wow.
Or
for me, we're half an hour between Pete and myself. It's 20 past 11 for me.
And it is 11:50 for me here in Adelaide, because Dan's in Queensland on the sunny coast, and I'm here in South Australia in Adelaide.
Oh wow.
And you are not getting the rain that he is.
Mm-mm.
And you're certainly not getting the snow and ice that we did. So
I know, I see greenery behind him. I'm jealous.
I know.
Don't have that here.
Yeah, I thought today that I'd talk to you guys from my lovely backyard.
Well, I will say everybody in United States right now is probably jealous seeing nice looking sky and some greenery behind you. So
yeah,
it's
too much of it.
I think it's nearly 30 degrees here today.
That would be Celsius, right?
Yes.
Celsius. Yeah.
So that's close to
I don't know what that is for you guys.
Hang on.
I'll Google it.
I got a conversion thing here. I think that's close to 100, maybe.
Oh wow.
It's hot.
Let's see.
Wow.
It's hot. Yeah.
It's 86.
I was just telling him, Pete. I was telling him about Majestic Theatre and some of the places, and the penitentiary we did in Tassie.
Oh, that was amazing. That place was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And
So, how did you get into doing paranormal?
oh my goodness, it's quite a bit of a story. When I was young, I actually had a couple of paranormal experiences myself. I think I was around 12 years of age, and lived with my parents in what they call Old Queenslander. Now it's a house, timber home, with a veranda around the whole entire house, and it's built on stilts, so it's up off the ground. Now this house back then was, I think, about 150 years old, and I remember going, because my father used to travel interstate driving semi-trailers, and I remember one evening I shared a room with my brother, who is slightly younger than me, and I had a shower, jumped into bed, and mums, as they do, run around, come on, it's time to go to bed, off you go. So I've jumped into bed, freshly showered, and I lid down and I saw my brother in the bed across from me, and he was sound asleep. But as I'm lying there looking around, not even tired, I had a set of hands come up and pin me to the bed, hold me to the bed. I froze, and that pretty much I stayed like that the whole night. Couldn't move, couldn't do anything, just petrified in fear. And then as the sun came up the following morning, the hands slid down. I jumped up screaming. My mum came racing in, looked under the bed, no one was there. So that was fantastic. And I'll give you a little bit of history about my mother. She, I guess, has the ability to sense things. And this house that we stayed in, she used to hate it because she'd wait up for my father to come home of a night from the trips, and she could always hear footsteps and see images and stuff. And she, when I told her this story later on in life, she goes, "Yeah, I knew something was going on, but you're only young, so I wasn't going to frighten you." But then later on in life, I was in my 30s when my son was born. He was in hospital with my partner at the time, just given birth to him. And I came home. We lived in like an old barn house on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland where Dan lives. And it was a beautiful old home. You know, it was all open plan living. It was a gorgeous home. But weird things started to happen. Like my wallet had go missing, and I knew where I put it. The dog, my dog used to freak out and hide under the house, and he was the most friendliest animal you'd ever meet. My stepkids at the time would hear people running up and down the back veranda. Now, I had a 6-foot fence, same as this one here. So there was no possible way of someone getting over the fence to do that. And hence I had a dog in the yard as well. And then it got to the point where my son was born in hospital, and I was home, just gotten home from the hospital. I think it was about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. I'd had a shower, had a towel wrapped around me, and all of a sudden, all the cupboard doors were slamming, opening and closing.
Wow.
The lights were all flickering on and off. People were running around the veranda. And I never experienced, we weren't doing night watches at the time. And I screamed at the top of my lungs, "Stop!" And everything just went pitch black, quiet, dark.
So what was going through your head at that time? I mean, because I couldn't imagine like all of that activity at one time. Like, holy cow, you know?
Freaked out.
Yeah.
To be honest, I slept in the car that night in a towel.
Don't blame you.
Didn't even get dressed. I straight in the car, seat back, and within a week we moved out of that house. But then Dan, we've had a friendship for over 30 years now, and we thought, well, Dan came to me with the idea of doing a YouTube channel, and he goes, "Well, let's try and do this to rekindle our friendship and bring things back to good again." Not that we weren't good, it was just things were getting stale. So we started off with a YouTube channel called Kickback Rakaz. It was trying weird foods, which I can tell you was absolutely horrifying. But we found that it wasn't our niche. It wasn't something that we were both passionate about. And then, because I remember the conversation, we were sitting in the backyard at his place having a cup of coffee, and he goes, "You want to start a YouTube channel?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, let's give it a crack. Let's have a go at this." And hence we've led today to where we are today. With Night Watchers, Dan and I decided to change who we were. I guess our branding and all that kind of stuff to something that we were actually passionate about. And we went into this. Dan has always been a bit of a skeptic, and he likes proving if it is or not. I'm more of a real true believer, I guess you can put it, because I freak out over everything. I'm kind of like a girl. It's hilarious. But I remember doing our first investigation. Now, it was at the Goodness Cemetery in Brisbane in Queensland. And we had no idea what we were doing. My sister and my niece came along just for the hell of it to hold the cameras for us. And the stuff we captured that night and the things that we heard kind of just made us, this is it for us, you know, this is what we want to do for the rest of our lives, you know. And YouTube has been an amazing experience. Working with Dan, obviously, working with your best mate is an amazing experience, and now to the point where my partner is involved with Night Watchers as well, with her own thing. And, you know, the three of us have had a fantastic working relationship. But getting back to Night Watchers is, for me, I guess it's our child, isn't it, Dan? It's our baby, you know, Night Watchers.
Yeah.
So that's how we started and how I got into it, you know.
So we have a quick question for you here, Pete. Was there any prints from the hands holding you all night?
Red marks. Like I had
Really?
red marks. They weren't really handprints, but they were just like a red mark, like someone had been pressing down on me for the whole night. But yes, there was.
Wow.
Have you ever experienced anything like that, Dan?
He's off on his own.
Go
right
again.
then.
Sorry, you talking to me?
have you ever experienced anything like that, Dan?
I've lost all audio. Can you guys hear me? I can't hear a thing.
Headphones. Maybe he doesn't have his headphones in. Okay. Hang on 1 second.
1 minute.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
There we
he's
go.
probably going to go and get other headphones he's got there.
You guys
Yeah. What do you have a favorite place that you've investigated there?
Wow. In Australia, yeah, I do. I think has been a couple of places for me personally.
Hello, 2-2. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Dan.
Can you hear us, Dan?
No audio. I can't hear you guys at all.
Hop out and come back in, maybe.
Oh,
Message them, Paul.
Yeah, I got it.
this weather is so bad.
Yeah, they're getting storms in Queensland. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Going back to that question you asked,
Hold
for
up.
me, the
2-2-2. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay, I just sent him a message,
All right.
and he froze.
Yeah. Sounds like his weather's pretty bad over there.
They've been getting torrential. In Queensland, they get a lot of tropical storms, and they can be pretty vicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess going back to the question you did ask, there is a couple of places here in Australia that absolutely terrify me. One of them is called the Hangman's House. Now, this is a house on the Sunshine Coast, and it was built in a bush reserve, a national reserve. So it couldn't be demolished. But elderly lady lived there for like 40 years. And she passed away within that home, and her body wasn't discovered for, I think it was like 6 to 8 months. And once everything was taken care with her and she was removed and all that, the government couldn't knock it down because it is heritage listed. It's a home that you can't knock down. So the bush has pretty much taken it back. We've been in there a couple of times, and the whole place just, there's trees growing in it. It's a weird looking place. Now, when we first went in there, it's a feeling you get. Anyone that has investigated knows this feeling. It's just a feeling of dread. Now, we'd backed up and I said, could you hear that? It was a light rain, and you could hear it on, you know, the sound of a person walking on dead leaves, that crunching sound.
Mm-hmm.
We heard it outside, and I'm like, Dan, we were filming at the time. I said, can you hear that? He's like, oh, it could be the rain. I said, no, it sounds like someone's walking. So we've backed out onto the veranda, and all of a sudden there was a massive whooshing sound coming down, and it was like right beside my head. I freaked out. The camera's gone sideways. I'm like, drop the F-bomb. Couldn't help it.
I bet.
And we backed right out because it was quite a sinister feeling. And then we heard something jump on the roof and run across the roof. Couldn't see anything, but it's recorded in one of our videos on the Hangman's House. Now, that's one that terrifies me. Absolutely terrifies me. The next one is actually down here in South Australia, and it's called St. Jude's Cemetery.
Ooh.
I go there all the time with my partner, and it is crazy. We've had rocks thrown at us. It's like a long, really long, narrow cemetery, and there's seats, like the metal seats that you can sit on, bench seats.
Yeah.
Along the road, right through this long, narrow cemetery. Now, we go right up the back and sit down and try and communicate with spirit, obviously. We've had it to the point where it feels like someone's kicked the back of the chair. You
So let me
turn
ask you a
around.
question. Can I ask you a question real quick, Pete?
Yeah.
So you said that you had like things thrown at you in the cemetery. Do you believe that was like a ghost, or do you think that was like on the Bigfoot side of things?
Well, because I guess it's in like a suburban area, like houses everywhere around it. I would say it's a spirit.
Gotcha.
Because there are, and don't get me wrong, I believe in all types of cryptids. For me, I think it's fascinating. Bigfoot,
Right.
Yowie, the whole lot. It's fascinating to me. But for me, I'm pretty sure it's spirit. Because if you saw the size of this cemetery, it's not really wide. It's a very narrow, long cemetery. So, and there's houses. There's no bushland or anything near this, and it's right near the beach. So for me, I would say it's more spirit. And we've had growls. We've had like terrifying growls.
Yeah.
I remember once we were on our way out because we just finished an investigation, my partner and I, and we took Dan there, and he copped some rocks in the back of the head. It was hilarious. But
Not for him, I'm sure.
well, see, in Queensland, the one thing I've noticed traveling around the world and here in Australia is that when you go to different states, you get different experiences. Like, for example, in Queensland, you'll get a cold feeling, and you'll get voices and stuff like that. Down here in South Australia, it's completely different. You get rocks thrown at you. And for the first time ever, and I've been doing this for a few years now, we went to a jail, a closed down jail that they did for tours. And it's out in the middle of the outback. It's in the desert. Now, the first time we walked into this prison to investigate, and it was only myself and my partner. We had the whole prison by ourselves. But it's like walking into cobwebs. Like I never experienced that until I moved down here to South Australia. And it is such a unique feeling. I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but it is so unique to interacting with spirit that it makes you think, okay, if I go elsewhere, am I going to experience something different? You know, how is the spirit going to communicate with us? And there are many different forms. Like I went into the drunk tank in this prison, and I started to feel inebriated. Wasn't drinking, but because it was the drunk tank, you could smell alcohol. You could feel a bit woozy, and we did a spirit box session in there, and a female come across and pretty much dropped the C word, called me a really nasty name, and told us to get the hell out of there. Yeah, it was funny. It was an experience to be had, you know. And they're the two places in the world. Like we went to Sherwood Forest in Nottingham in the UK.
Oh,
and absolutely amazing location.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. Like at night, it is terrifying. Like we walked into the cemetery at Sherwood Forest, and it's not a very big one. First thing I did, flat on my back, went down like a ton of bricks. And my partner's killing herself laughing, laugh. But you get up, and just the EVPs that we were getting there from people of an earlier generation was absolutely amazing. Like the way they spoke, it's not how we speak, you know. It's totally fascinating, you know.
Yeah.
Germany's another one with a great history there that we've investigated at. Absolutely amazing.
So you guys really get to travel a lot, you know.
Well, we are. I'm going to wait until Dan gets back, because we got something very exciting happening for Night Watchers Paranormal, and my partner can't really divulge it until Dan is back there with me, but it's going to open the opportunity for pretty much worldwide travel, investigating.
He did kind of give us a hint backstage before the show started. So, but we won't mention anything until he comes back.
Well, hopefully he can get through.
Yeah, he's got he came up a couple times, but it was only a white box.
I saw that, and then it didn't come all the way through. He was
I've been messaging him. Oh, hang on, he just sent me back. Real quick, you mentioned something about spider webs. And it's funny you mentioned that. The first ever investigation that I was on, Krista was there, and she had told me that, if you feel yourself walking through spider webs, chances are it's not spider webs; it's the spirit. So, I mean, that was pretty interesting.
And I agree with you. If you stop and you feel spider webs, if you walk through a spider web, you feel it. You'll see evidence of that web. But when you walk through one, especially in a haunted location, and there's no spider webs around and you can't see anything on you, because you've got to remember spider web's pretty sticky and you've got to really pull it off yourself.
Yeah.
But when you walk through something like that and experience it for the first time, it's like, this has freaked me out a little bit, It's something that's exhilarating yet a little bit frightening. Because if they can do that, what else can they do?
What else can they do? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Did you see that he's back, Paul?
Oh, there he is. Okay, let's see if it works.
Hey,
Dan, can you hear us?
I don't think he can.
Dan, can you hear us? It doesn't look like he can hear us. Okay, he froze too. It looks like. All right, I'm going to put him back.
He's just having weather issues.
Yeah. He said the internet is really bad due to the weather. When I exited, it started uploading the recordings from StreamYard, and he can't stop it. So I asked him if he wanted to call me on my phone, and we can do it that way. So, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine for now. So I forgot what I was saying.
Well, I have a question. How often do you guys actually get out and do investigations?
Well, we used to get out at least once a week, but I guess now with this new venture that we're about to embark on, it's cut down a hell of a lot because of the stuff that we need to do behind the scenes and I guess life in general. Down here in South Australia, my partner and I try and get out at least once a fortnight. Because we do have a lot of locations down here that we can go to. There's one place out at Morgan. It's about 2.5 hours outside of Adelaide, out in the desert. And we have a location there called the Terminus Hotel. And this place is crazy active. I mean, to the point where we went to bed one night and we stayed in this apartment in the hotel. And it used to be back in the early 1900s. It was the morgue for the town. So this morgue has been turned into an apartment. And we got to the point that we heard, and we're 2 stories up. We heard knocking on our window, and there's no balcony, nothing outside. Like there's no possible logical way a person can get up and knock on that window. To the point it was that terrifying that I'm like. My partner goes to me, "Oh, can you go and get my bag out in the lounge?" I'm like, "Hell no, I'm not getting out of this bed." But we had her mum staying with us in that apartment, so we're both, "Mom, can you go and get her bag?" And she's like, "Oh, you pair of wusses," and goes and does it, But there's some really interesting locations here in Australia, all over Australia, like Tasmania. Dan explained to you that we'd been to Tasmania, and we are involved with the National Trust down there. That's why we can get some absolutely amazing locations. And he was telling you about the convict jail in Hobart. This place, if you go in and you watch one of our videos, I think it was a Halloween release this year that we did for it of that investigation in the jail. We actually all went our separate ways in the pitch black in this jail. I went into the psychiatric ward. my partner was up in the courthouse, and Dan was in the caretaker's lodge. So we were miles away from each other. But the experiences that we had there, like the running down towards me, no one's there. It's like only 3 of us in the whole building. And we're all doing lives. So you'd hear the running down, and it was just absolutely crazy. But location-wise, we've got some really amazing ones here.
Yeah.
And really scary ones too.
Absolutely.
Dan, can you hear us? Doesn't look like you can. You can't hear us at all?
I don't think
Doesn't
you
look like
can.
you can. Okay. I don't know if he's going to be able to call us. I've asked him a couple times if he can call us, and he said it doesn't sound like his internet's going to let him do that. So, but we'll keep trying.
If not, when his weather's better, maybe you can have him back.
Damn.
Darn the luck, huh?
We'll have to have you both back.
Right?
I have to admit, with doing podcasts and stuff like this, it's very rare that Dan and I can get together to do this type of thing.
Oh wow!
Because with his schedule and my schedule, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. But it is what it is, I guess. Queensland weather, great stuff.
Yeah, no kidding. You said before that, and someone else had a question, and I'm going to kind of lead into that question with this one. You said before, or I can't remember if it was you or Dan that said something about using a Ouija board in your investigation. Do you use that a lot?
Oh yeah, personally, I love it. You know, I think this is how I look at a Ouija board. The name Ouija was actually brought to fruition by Hasbro, the gaming company, back in the early 60s, I think it was. And they marketed it as a kid's game. Okay. So Hollywood has now made the Ouija board infamous for something that's pure evil. This is how I look at it, right? We use spirit boxes, correct? What is a Ouija board? It's a spirit board. It's an older form of a spirit box. So if you think with that logic, we use a spirit box and people say Zozo and all that kind of thing. You're inviting stuff in. You're doing exactly the same with a spirit box, except it's just a modern take on a spirit board. And that's how I look at it. I love them. I think they're
I agree with you.
amazing.
I personally don't use them, but I know others who do. And I think it's your intention. So if you put out the right intention, you'll get the right things back. And if you know how to open them and close them properly, then there's not a problem. I don't think, a 12-year-old kids need to play with them, but 12-year-old kids don't need to be talking to spirits anyway, whether it's a Ouija board or, like you said, a ghost box,
Yeah. So that leads me into the question from T-Bone. Do you have a favorite tool to use in your investigations?
There's actually a couple of things I really enjoy using. Firstly, it's a voice recorder. And the reason why I say a voice recorder is that sometimes we can't hear spirit, especially disembodied voices. And I think that technology is amazing to actually capture those disembodied voices. Also, your senses. Senses are great to use on how you feel, like a gut instinct. And 9 times out of 10, if you follow your gut, you're going to be right. But I think for me, one of the best pieces of equipment that I've actually used has to be a spirit box. 100% a spirit box. And we're going to be starting with some new equipment very soon. But that leads into the other thing that we were talking about, Dan was telling you earlier. But they're my 2 go-to pieces of equipment, I think.
Yeah. And, Krista was the first one to tell me, before I did this, I was like, oh, we're going to need cameras, all kinds of recorders and stuff. And I'm like, no, you feel it before anything else, really. And
100%.
Yeah. And, we've had things that have come across us that, the cold breeze that passes you and being scratched and everything. So, yeah, I mean, you don't need a whole lot of pieces of equipment.
There are so many people that actually, they're watching their equipment instead of looking, they might miss a full-bodied apparition walk in front of them because they're looking down at their piece of equipment, when your body tells you so much, whether you feel like you're sensitive or not, your body will still, get those EBGBs or that spider web effect, or, you know, you might get an itch on your left toe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Everybody's different, you know?
Or a tap on the shoulder.
That's it. One thing I always say to people that are starting in this field and want to become investigators and go out and experience this for themselves. And I was given this piece of advice when I first started by one of my mentors, is that when you first investigate, don't go out and buy millions of pieces of equipment. You know, your mobile phone is enough because you've got a voice recorder on it. You've got a camera on it. That's all you need. If you want equipment, buy a couple of cat balls and buy a K2 meter, and you're set for an investigation, you know?
Yep. I tell people that all the time. You don't need that expensive equipment, you know? It can be fun to play with, but don't just rely on that, for sure.
100%. And I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, I found using the that dead bell is really interesting to me. And you know, along with the cat balls too, those are fun. And it actually had something that freaked me out with a cat ball falling off a rocking chair. But those dead bells, I like those.
Wow, now you're breaking up for me. I can hardly hear you.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it sounds all staticky.
Did well,
and there he's gone. Wow.
Well, apparently that was weird.
Okay.
Oh, here he comes.
There's Pete back.
There we go.
There you are.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. A bit maybe a ghost got into it.
Do we sound better?
100%. Sounds back to normal.
Wow.
I don't know. It was a bit weird, but anyway.
Okay. Boy, this is going to turn out to be kind of a weird show.
It is.
That's a good thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, except I lose my train of thought easily. So
Sorry.
We were talking about equipment.
I like using the dead bell, and the cat balls kind of going off. That freaked me out one time.
You know, I gotta tell on you, Paul. So your first investigation, I believe, was Ashmore. Am I correct?
Yep.
And so I actually, you have a video of, so Paul was investigating with my friend Jennifer, and they had the bell.
Oh yeah.
That video that you made is hilarious.
So we were in like a stairwell, and there was part of the wall was missing or something, or it used to be a shelf on a wall or something like that. And we were walking around with somebody else's dead bell, and I had a couple cat balls that we were putting on the shelf. And you know, I think I asked the question, do you like us being here? Do you want us? And nothing came.
You said, do you want us to leave?
Yeah. Nothing came up, and I said, do you want us to leave? And no sooner did I get that out of my mouth, and the bell went off, and I said, okay, we're out. See ya.
That was so funny. It was, you can definitely tell that was your first one, but you've come a long way since then.
And just the few of them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So Pete, have you ever been scratched or marked or anything? I'm sure you have, just by that reaction there.
Oh, 100%. Look, we do the Estes method, sensory deprivation sessions.
Yep.
Now, I think, oh my goodness, I'm up to about 300 of them now that I've done over the history of Night Watchers. I've been grabbed, I've been punched, I've been prodded, I've been poked. I've been indecently assaulted.
Whoa.
Well, I remember we did this place up in Gympie. It's out in the bush on the Sunshine Coast, and I had a hand run up the side of my leg up to my butt and then grab me. Grab me. So I totally freaked out, screamed, "Ah!" and swore that I'd never do it again. But the one thing I do notice, that especially when you do this, there we go. Thanks, Andrea. 500 videos that we've done now. But
wow.
The one thing that I do notice, and Dan and Ange, my partner, can vouch for this, is that you try and find more. Like, you get to a point where this is not enough for me. I need more. I need to be picked up and dumped on my head. You know?
Right.
And I think as you do this, and as you grow as an investigator and develop your skills and hone your craft, that you want to take greater risks. You want to push the boundaries, you know. And I know you guys would have to feel the same after doing so many investigations. You're like, what can we do next? How can we make this better? How can we connect with spirit? And the way I look at it is that, especially in the paranormal world, dealing with the veil and all that kind of stuff, is that we're like monkeys on a computer. We have no idea what's out there. We have no idea how intense it can get.
Right.
But I guess as you experience it more and more and more, by getting scratched, getting pushed, getting bitten. I've been bitten once or twice, and that's just a horrible feeling. But when you have these experiences, it gets you to a point where you're like, this is not enough for me. I need more. I need to push the boundaries. I need to find that truth. Isn't that why we all do this, is to find the truth of what happens to us after we pass?
Definitely.
And that's how I look at it.
Oh, it looks like he's back.
Let's try this again. Dan, can you hear us again?
Mr. Few, I'm back. Hello.
We
Hi,
can hear
buddy.
you. Can you hear us? More important thing. All right.
Yay!
Gotcha. Well, okay, it's time to wrap this interview up. Thank you guys for joining us.
He's
That'd be
kidding.
about right.
No, we have at least 15 more seconds. No. Dan, thank you for coming back.
Yeah.
I was
Sorry, guys. The weather's that bad here that the internet was just. I had to restart my phone. All the apps were doing stuff. When I exited out to come back in, when I went out, my phone automatically, StreamYard does some stupid thing now where it makes you automatically upload your files. And because my internet's already lagging, it wanted to, it was up trying to upload my files while the internet's lagging. I'm like, oh, God, don't do this to me now.
yeah.
Anyway, I just restarted the whole phone, tried to cancel everything off, and apparently it's working all right now.
Here
so.
you are. Perfect.
And it really doesn't seem like there's much of a lag at all anymore.
Not now, no.
Yeah.
I think it was me.
Awesome.
Just needed to restart my phone, I think, because it just didn't like what was going on. So,
Nice. Well, Pete was telling us that he doesn't like working with you much anymore. And
would surprise me.
no, not at all.
No.
Well,
I might turn this. I'm going to turn this. That way we're all staying.
There you go.
There we go.
There we go. So we just asked Pete a little while ago, do you have a favorite piece of equipment that you use in your investigations?
Favorite piece of equipment? Sorry, I'm just getting my camera right here. Favorite piece of equipment? Yeah, I've got a couple. I'd have to say probably the voice recorder would be my favorite. Even though I don't use it that much, that would be my favorite. But I don't know. Look, REM pods are good. They're all pretty good. But in saying that, I think we're going to start going back to a bit of the old school roots. I think we're going to try and start using a bit more analog gear. You know.
Mm-hmm. And we were saying that it's just as good, having no equipment and just using your feelings and everything too.
Yeah, we're going to start doing that a lot more now because I find that we've been talking and we find that with all the equipment, all the noise going on and beeping this and flashing that, when you have all that going on, you tend to not be able to hear and focus on what's actually going on in the background. There's a lot of things you could miss. So we want to try and get back to the roots of less is more,
Right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Exactly. A couple. We have your little announcement that you wanted to make earlier. We have not talked about it. We wanted to wait for you to come back.
It was hard.
Okay. Yeah. Do you guys want to explain what you guys are doing coming up here pretty soon?
I'll let Pete take the reins on this one, mate. She's yours. Go for it, dude.
We waited for you for that.
Okay.
Sorry, man.
Sorry.
All good. We actually have some exciting news, and we have released this on Facebook. But myself, Dan, and my partner Ange have been invited to the UK to film a paranormal documentary movie.
Very cool.
With the esteemed Irish director Jason Figgis. and historian John West. Now, these guys have been involved with Steven Spielberg, Lionsgate Films. Wow. Jason actually did Queen Elizabeth II's Jubilee. So it's something that has now progressed into the point where we're about to go into pre-production with the film. We'll be filming in York. I'm not going to give you too much on it, but we're going to be filming in York as 3 Australian paranormal investigators going overseas to experience what the great UK has to offer. And with that, it's going to delve into some histories and some other things. And that's where Dan was talking, and we had ideas of what we're going to use in this, and we've been all collaborating together. So, and that looks like it's going to be a December 2025 release. We're actually going to film it in September. Yeah, we're going to film it in September, and he is going to go like absolutely crazy in post-production to get it and editing to get it all done before Christmas and have it released at Christmas. So
well, congratulations to both of you.
Yeah, congratulations,
Thank
guys.
You. Thank you. It's actually going to be cinema release as well as Netflix and streaming services and stuff like that. So
you guys will keep us updated when the release is and all that good stuff, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll be keeping everybody updated with that. Yeah, that'll be all on our social medias and our channel and things like that. But it is going to be cinema release in the USA, UK, Germany,
Spain.
And Spain. Not sure about Australia yet. It could happen, but we've still got time. You know, that could come. But you would think it would happen since we are Aussie. But we'll see how we go. We'll see what happens.
Go figure.
But Jason Figures has got he's got over 100 countries basically, for lack of better words, in his back pocket. You know, of who he's already dealt with. Like he already deals with Netflix. He already deals with these big, discoveries. And all those channels and that. Yeah, so when he says, "Oh, it's going to go to here and it's going to go to there," we just believe and know that that's where it's going to go because he's done it. He knows what he's doing. So I believe that Jason is a great director. He's really good at what he does. And some of the shots he can pull are absolutely just beautiful, second to none cinematic shots. So I know that he's got what it takes to do it, and I really think that this show could be his big break for him, and he wants to make this the biggest and best paranormal documentary film ever committed to camera. And that was his exact words. So I know that he's got the nous to do it. He's got what it takes. So we believe in him. That's why we're going. He what's the word I'm looking for? He asked us to do it, and we are honoured to do it. So that's what we're doing.
Look forward to it because I'll definitely watch it.
Yeah,
thank you.
That's all. I mean, we have a friend of ours is Greg Ogles. He does documentaries here in the States, but a lot of Bigfoot investigations and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty cool. We'll have to have you guys back when the documentary is released, and you guys can talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
I know that once we've finished filming, because we're associated with Ghostflix TV, a streaming service that does paranormal investigation videos out of Germany. And I know that they pretty much broadcast to all of Europe. Now, once we're done filming in September, we're going over there, and we've got some stuff to do with Ghostflix. I know we've got to do interviews, and we're doing a couple of investigations, which we're really excited about for our streaming service, that we'll be doing some investigations with some local teams in Germany. Now, I've already been there to Germany and investigated with Ghostflix. Amazing bunch of people. So if there are anybody in the US that's German and that loves paranormal investigation, go and check out Ghostflix TV. They're absolutely amazing. And they're a German-based paranormal streaming service.
Yeah, but they also do have other stuff on there that's not just German. So what they do is they'll use our video, like for instance us, we're on there. But what they do is they transcribe and put German subtitles on our video. So, but they've got American channel, American creators. They've got English creators. So there's not just European or German stuff. Yeah, it's
all around the world.
It's very, very good streaming service. So if you want to check them out, guys, ghostflix.tv. For anybody who wants to check them out, definitely worth it.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, if you guys ever make it to the States, you'll have to look Paul and I up.
Yeah, no,
definitely.
We're planning to.
Awesome.
To come to the US. Yeah.
Really? Yeah, that's our big plan. That's our big plan. We've always wanted to come there, and we will. We've had a lot of offers for people to come and film with, which is very humbling. It's we feel honoured to be able to come and do it. So. Well, definitely. We want to hit. There's so many places we want to hit up. Like if we come over there, it'd be like for at least a month, because we'd be.
It has to be.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And, we're not a big documentary company or anything, but there's some awesome places for you to go around here, at least in St. Louis.
Definitely.
Even the Midwest, anywhere in the Midwest, really.
Sure.
Yep. We're open to it all.
Yeah, the one thing I've always learned, and both Dan and I really feel this way, is that when we first started on YouTube, I think we were at something like 300 subscribers. And we've got friends here in Australia, in Brisbane, that used to do it. They don't do it anymore. I think they've gone their own ways. But they called Haunted Down Under. Now, I rang them. And back then I was doing a lot of the chasing to get locations and working with people. And I think at that time they were at about 10,000 subscribers. And I rang them and said, could we work with you and do a video? And they were the most humble people I've ever come across. The girls were absolutely lovely. Yeah, come on, let's go film. And that's the one thing, no matter how big Dan and I get, is to always work with those smaller channels, help them grow. Like we got that help when we first started out.
Absolutely.
I think it's important to do.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. That's what Pete and I said from the start. We said, look, this might take off, it might not. But we said if it does, we made a pact that doesn't matter how big we get or we don't get, to us it's about the journey and the message. We're trying to find the real truth, the real paranormal. And this is why Jason picked us. Out of all the Australian paranormal teams he could have picked, he wanted Aussies. And he looked around and he found us. And the reason why he went with us is because this is what he told us, is because of our genuine interest in the paranormal, our respect that we have for it when we do investigate, and just the vibe and the energy that he got from watching us. Like he really, and I think a lot of our followers get this. When Pete and I were investigating together, we have an energy that we have when we film and investigate together that you can't just put two people together and get. I mean, we've been friends for on the cusp of 30 years now, so we're best friends. So what the energy we have when we go into a place, and we don't get it. If we go solo, we don't get it. When we're together is when we get it. So we try and film together as much as we possibly can, even if we're like 3 or 4 states apart. At least a couple of times a year, I'll fly down to him at least, and we'll film. And that's what we're going to be doing big time this year. But that's what it comes down to. It's all about being humble, and that's what we are when we do it.
And it shows with the both of you. It really does.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I've watched enough of your videos to know that you guys are not faking it. Everything is genuine that you guys do. Your reactions aren't over the top sensationalized like you see on some shows, TV shows, whatever. And that always helps. That always helps.
Big time. Exactly. Like even when we did we even debunk ourselves. For instance, when I got pointed out, someone pointed out to me, I forget who it was now, but one of our followers pointed out that my necklace, one of the videos we did, my necklace jumped off it bounced like this on my shirt. But it wasn't paranormal. And I thought it was too. I looked and went, oh my God, I didn't even pick up on that. But then I looked at it and went, hang on a second. No, that's me. Because what was, I have this habit, and you can only see it if I'm wearing a shirt. Like I've got a thing on here, right? But if the shirt I had on was plain black and I had a chain on, and I have the habit of just flicking my shirt down here. It's just a bit of, like I do this down the bottom here. It's just, because we were bigger boys, so when you got a bit of a belly, you tend to just pull the shirt out and make sure it's covering up, So I'd flick the shirt, and what happens was the ripples up the shirt, and then the chain bounced. So I worked out, oh crap, that's what I'd done. So before anybody else picks it up, because once you get branded as fake, all over Red Road,
Where's your reputation?
yeah. So I had to jump on as quick as possible and debunk this video and go, no, guys, it's all right. It was just me. And I showed it to them. So we even debunk our own things. You know, that's what it's all about. It's all about the real paranormal evidence, and that's what we do.
As you should. You know, Brandy and I, my Blondes and Booze partner, you know, our motto we live by: when in doubt, throw it out. So if we have any questions at all, and any pictures, EVPs, anything, we won't post it as evidence. You know, we live by that rule: when in doubt, throw it out.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's like us. I get just this week twice I got 2 different people sending me a whole stack load of photos. Check this out. Can you tell me what it is? We get it all the time. We get it all the time. And you know what? Yeah, it's so hard to look at something and you go, there's nothing there. You know, they're adamant that they've caught an alien, or they've caught a ghost, or they've caught a this or that. And I'm looking at it. I'm opening it up in Photoshop, pulling the levels. I'm trying different things to try and see what they're seeing. There's nothing there. It's just either pareidolia or it's just nothing there. And you know, the hard thing is saying to these people, I'm not sure what you're seeing, but I cannot see it. You know, and all the time people are just sending us stuff, and 9 times out of 10. There's nothing there. You know?
There was one piece of footage that we captured, and we've done a video on it, and we actually went back to try and debunk this video. Now, it was at the Mapleton Cemetery, and we actually caught on our night vision camera a shadow figure coming across and diving into a grave behind us. Now, we tried to go back and debunk it because I thought, both Dan and I thought, oh, we're going to have people going, you fake stuff, you do this, you do this, you do this. Now, we tried to debunk it every time. Still to this day. And that video now has been featured on Chill's, Nuke's Top 5, and a handful of other top 5s around the world. And to this day, people cannot debunk that video. And we tried, personally, actually made a second video on that location to try and debunk it in the daytime to see what we were looking at. And we set the camera up in the same place, walked as this figure did, and did what it did to try and see if it was a person or whatever. But to this day, it's one of the best pieces of evidence that we've ever caught.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's why we went during the days, because we wanted to show people where we were standing, where this was placed, where that was placed, which way we moved, and then we explained the whole thing. You know, we're pointing our torches towards the back of the cemetery, looking at a grave on the ground, and yet, you know, people were saying, "Oh, it's your shadow." How can it be our shadow when it's running and we're standing still? Like, it doesn't make sense.
And it's pitch black.
It's pitch black, and our light source is pointing the opposite direction. It's like, no, you know, people will automatically try and use whatever they can in their little brains to try and make it look like it's not real, because they've either got a closed mind and they just don't want to believe, which is cool. That's their prerogative. But, you know, or they just, you know, they're trying to overanalyze things, which is cool. You can do that too. But anyway, you can't please everybody is basically it, you know?
Right.
Exactly. And, you know, I remember the one time that I got scratched, I tried everything to try and figure out, did I do that? Did somebody else do that? And we were far enough apart that it couldn't have happened. And I was on camera the whole time. I had a camera behind me and it was showing me the whole time, and nothing, I never reached down and scratched my leg or anything. And I mean, that just, you know, fulfilling that, you know, it's something that you can't debunk, that it actually did happen.
Yeah, 100%.
Perfect example is when we went to Terminus Hotel, season 6, for anybody that wants to see it. Terminus Hotel. We went down there, and before we went with the owner to go to our rooms, right? And it was only myself, Pete's partner Ange, and her mum. The 3 of us walked upstairs to go to our rooms. Pete was downstairs talking to the owner still, the other owner. And I got touched 3 times before we even got to our room. Once in the back, pokes in the back.
I remember that one.
Once in the head, yep. And then the the cobweb feeling, the cobwebs. I got that as we walked out the back door, and there was no cobwebs there. It was like, yeah, so yeah, 3 times. And so going on through what you were just saying with being scratched and stuff, and you think, you look for everything. You're looking for things going, did something fall on me, or did I walk past the curtain, or you're looking for this stuff, and that's the logical mind. And I think a really good paranormal investigator is somebody that does have a little bit of that in their mind. You can't just go, oh my God, it was that.
Dramatic.
You can, but try and you can, because it's great to have that positivity. But you got to think, hang on, did I just walk past something first, or did something blow on me, or you got to think that way first.
Yeah, I've had a couple things here at the house kind of flip and move on their own. And I know I've spent a good 15, 20 minutes trying to, jump on the floor, bang things around, turn stuff on to see if I did that or if something else did that. Nothing else was on. So, I have no idea, no explanation for that. And now I feel something crawling on my leg. We do have a couple questions here. Little Patty had one. Have you ever feel a disembodied hand on your shoulder, look down, and you see it and it just disappears, or anything?
No, I've never seen a hand on my shoulder. I've got something very close to that. I've never seen a hand on my shoulder. I've felt that. So this wasn't even an investigation. I was at home, not here, my old home, and I was living with, for anybody that watches us on a regular, they'll remember Simon. He was we had teams. We had Night Watchers Queensland, which I ran. We had Night Watchers South Australia, which Pete ran. But Simon was on my team because he lived with me at the time, right? So I thought it was his wife that had come home because they were living with me for a while. So I'm in the room. I'm on my computer. And I'm sitting there, and I've got the headphones on. I was actually editing a video at the time. And I felt a hand on my shoulder like that. When you want to get someone's attention, you put your hand on their shoulder to say, hey, I want to talk, because they'll get the headphones on. So I've taken the cans off. I'm like, yeah, what's up? And lo and behold, there's no one there. There's no one there. Just a hand, like a full hand on my shoulder, like enough for me to go, yeah, what's up? And there was no one there. It's like, so, yes, never seen it, but I felt that hand on the shoulder.
Wow.
As for me, apart from the hands that pinned me down to the bed, which I did see and disappeared, I've been grabbed on the shoulder many a times. I've never seen a hand. I've never turned around and seen a hand slide back, but I've had the feeling and the experience of it, apart from that first incident when I was young.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we've both been touched many a times, but never seen it, man.
You never
Talking
really
about...
Go ahead.
Sorry,
go ahead, Pete. No, go ahead.
Talking about hands, and I will send you this video. My partner showed Dan and I this video, and it is a phenomenal video. Holy, you know the video I'm talking about, Dan? Yeah. Well, my partner does her own thing called Spirit Crew Australia, and she had some fans of hers come over from Melbourne over here to Adelaide. So she took them to a cemetery and did a little bit of a mini investigation with them. And as she did the investigation, she had a bit of a weird feeling with it all. But as she was walking out the cemetery saying goodbye to these people, on the camera, there's footage of a hand saying something, a person, like a spirit saying something, but a hand grabbing a mouth and fish hooking her. And then the fun, and I can send you this video. Yeah. The funny thing is that she got a mouth infection from that.
Oh, wow.
And had to go on to antibiotics for 2 weeks to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And when she showed us the video, I'm like, nah, come on, that is unreal.
And you can see it in slow-mo. You can actually see the hand, and you see the and she got an infection, and can't explain it.
Crazy. First time I've ever heard of anyone getting an infection from a spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty full on. Yeah.
But I will send you that video after we've done this interview. I'll send it to you guys. Have a look at it.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. Blondes and Booze, one of your podcasts, towards the end of the show, you know how you're always saying goodbye and everything. And we have it on video. We actually caught it somewhere. I don't think we have it now, but the girls were saying goodbye, and then all of a sudden you hear this little kid's voice, bye-bye.
Mhm.
Nice.
Freakiest thing. Yeah, it was really super cool. Really
Yeah, and
super
our
cool.
guest at the time, she her house had activity, but then my partner Brandy, her house also has activity. So we're not sure whose house it came from.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the hard thing about it is you can't go back and check
Mhm.
files on whose one it was because it's all off the same broadcast. Yeah,
Yeah.
damn.
And I
But
got to
that's
look back at here on this show at about 33 minutes. Dan, I don't think you were here. Pete, I think it was just you on the bottom down there. And had just finished saying something, and I heard a different noise. So I'm going to have to play that back and see what we got there. So I heard something different.
Wow. All
Keep in
right.
mind,
Nice.
I have my dog sitting here, and he like gets up and moves. So if it's something weird, keep that in mind when you go back and listen.
And you
Yeah,
also have cool brownies too that you didn't share with us. So
Yeah, I'm
we'll leave
sorry.
that for another day.
Oh, like
Yeah. Got a couple other questions here. Do you guys get any dogman sightings? Sinfully Wicked would like to know.
not where we are. Not
No.
that we've personally dealt with or anything like that. No.
Right.
To be honest, we haven't heard of anything local to us, but we haven't researched that either. So going off just what we've heard, no. But researched it, no.
You guys in the States have some really cool stuff, eh? Over here we got the Yeti.
Yeah.
Yowie, if you want to call him that way.
Mhm.
But where I live here in Adelaide, I'm right down the bottom of Australia, in South Australia. But between South Australia and Western Australia, I can't even remember the name of it, but along the Nullarbor Plain, there's this area of road, section of road. Oh my God, fly. These SA flies try and fly in your mouth. But
that's the cool thing about winter right now. We have no flies.
Oh,
Yeah, we have
this is crazy. But there's this section of road that they do get a lot of, I guess, sightings of cryptids. And it's insane that you have to go there at a certain time of the year for it to be really active. I can't think of the name of it. I will research it and let everyone know what it is. But it's just this little section of road. And the Nullarbor Plain, if you don't know that, that's the main highway that goes right from South Australia right across the country to Western Australia. And it is dead flat, dead straight. Like there's nothing that grows over waist height on the Nullarbor. Like you could be driving and you're looking down the Nullarbor Plain and you see a little tiny building off in the distance. That's 4 hours away.
Wow.
Because everything is so flat there. It's crazy. But apparently along the Nullarbor, there are places where you can see cryptids.
Cool.
One thing that we might have to go and have a look at one day, Dan.
Yeah, good, yeah, for sure.
There's nothing like it going out in the woods, sitting there and getting surrounded by something.
Yeah. But that's the thing with this. Once we do this this film, if things go to plan as such, if we get a little bit of coin out of it, at least we might be able to start traveling around and doing some of this stuff. Because as you guys know, it's very, very, very expensive to go out and do this stuff. You've got to either hire the location, or you got to travel to the location, or you got to stay there. Then you got to feed yourself, and then you got the equipment and batteries and all this stuff. So it does get a bit costly. And but if everything goes well to plan, we might be able to get out a bit more and do some more of that stuff.
Awesome. And you guys, have an open invitation here. I mean,
Thank you.
if you guys are ever in the States,
Awesome.
Certainly let us know.
100%.
We'll find you guys. Yeah,
definitely be there for sure. Definitely. No, we've definitely got a handful of people that we're definitely going to be going to see. And you guys are on that list. So
Thank you.
100%.
Yeah, appreciate it. One more question here. Go ahead, Krista. Go ahead.
I just want to say something. Yes, my daughter made brownies. They're not special brownies, though. That's clear.
Oh,
It's just
right.
regular brownies that we have.
Oh, okay.
Nothing special about them.
Not the happy brownies. Okay. Not the happy ones.
No, just
So they're
regular
cool.
brownies.
They're cool.
And she
They're
always seems to be making food like right before our show,
My
and
kids
I always
have
hear
sweet
about it.
tooth.
Yeah,
Yes.
I always hear it. But,
I can smell it. I can smell it. Yum, yum.
brownies sound really good, actually.
Yeah.
Never mind. Have you guys ever had the deceased become afraid of something else that shows up?
That I can answer yes, 100%. We've been interacting with spirit, especially in some investigations that we do, where you might have a young spirit, like a child spirit, come and talk to you, where we've heard interaction with this, having a conversation with this child spirit, that an older spirit, like maybe a father figure or something of that nature, will come in and scare that spirit off. And then this spirit's very dominating, very overbearing and overpowering for the child spirit, where you can't contact or even speak to that spirit anymore. You know, we've had that many a times on investigations, and you think to yourself, well, if they, like, for me, I think, do these spirits realize that they have passed on, moved on to the other side, you know? Maybe those spirits are afraid of what's happening to them, especially children's spirit or young spirit. And then they have a spirit or something more, an entity of some form that comes in and tries and controls them all. And you can think I'm crazy or something, thinking this way, but that's how I feel, is that sometimes there are spirits that just want to talk and find out what's going on, where you have maybe a dominant spirit that'll come in and turn around and say, no, you're not saying anything. You need to keep quiet, you know? And that's how I feel. Yeah. That's how I think about it.
I definitely think you're right there, Pete. And one thing we've noticed by being out on investigations too is that when we do talk to them, the entities and spirits and that, is that one thing I've noticed and Peter's noticed is that I think they're bound to certain rules and laws of the other side. Like you ask certain questions, there's ones they can never answer. You can never get an answer out of them for it. And there's other ones where they do give you a clear answer. But I believe that the other side, they're bound to certain rules and laws or something like that, because we've heard it before where, like Pete was just saying, is that you'll get a spirit tell the other one, you know, like, as in, like, it's like they're saying to them, shut up, you can't answer that. So it's like they're constantly being reminded, or they're being, authority ones are saying, hey, zip it, you know. So yeah, it's we've noticed that a lot, that's what I'm saying. We've noticed that a lot, is that there's certain things they can tell you and certain things they can't tell you. And I've actually had it come up in investigations where they're saying along those lines that they can't, certain things they can't say. One thing we did have at the what's that museum we did with Chris, Pete, down in
Kapunda Museum.
Kapunda Museum, yeah. Season 5, I think it is, very into season 5. I think it's out there. The Awakening or something I called it. We did a double sensory deprivation where I had Pete on one side. This is down in the basement area. They've got all the artifacts down in the basement area. Had Pete over in the school area set up with the spirit box, the blindfold, doing a sensory depth. That's this method for those that call it that. And had Chris set up on the other side. And they're probably, what do you reckon you would have been apart? About 20, 30 metres, something like that?
Yeah, about that.
And I'm in the middle asking the questions, And I asked the question towards the end of it, of the session. I started asking the question, okay, here we go. And I asked this. I said, are humans, I forget what the exact words were, but basically along the lines of, are we related, or have we got anything to do with extraterrestrials? I wanted to bring that into the equation, right? And lo and behold, doesn't matter how I asked the question, yes. We will get direct answers from him and her saying yes. So they
Wow.
both can't hear what I'm saying, and they're both like about 30 meters apart, whatever it is, on the other side of the room, blindfolded, headphones on,
Mhm.
and they're both giving me the answers of yes.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, I always want to ask that. Are we? What are we to alien? Like I use all the words: extraterrestrials, aliens, UFO. Like, I'm trying to bring all the different words in because who knows what they call them over on that side. But
Mhm.
yeah, they were saying that our DNA, we are from aliens.
Wow.
So, but look, I'm probably ticking off a few people who are religious now by saying that. But everybody's entitled to their beliefs. But hey, man, I'm agnostic, or it's an atheist, whatever. I don't believe in a certain God. I just believe there's something powerful and there's something strong there. Even though I talk to ghosts, it doesn't mean I believe in. It doesn't mean I don't believe in. It doesn't mean I do believe in. I'm a bit of a fence sitter when it comes to religion. But
Mhm.
yeah, man, they're saying that we come from aliens. So
Yeah,
I mean,
see,
who knows? I mean,
I'm
you know,
completely opposite to Dan. I'm a firm believer that there's a God, and I believe in angels and demons and spirit and all that kind of stuff. I was raised that way,
Mhm.
raised religious. I'm not so much religious now, but I still have those core beliefs,
Mhm.
Hence what I'm wearing.
Yeah, and some people say that aliens are just us in the future coming back to our planet. I mean, who
that's what
knows?
I heard too.
Who knows?
Yeah,
I
I've
mean,
heard that. Yeah,
and again, to get back to your point, we're all trying to figure out the same answers.
Right.
So
exactly,
that's what we're
exactly.
all here.
Well,
Isn't that something like Scientology, that they believe that their aliens are going to come back or something like that? I think that's something to do with that.
That
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I don't know
I-
much
Where
about
they
that.
incorporate the religion with aliens.
I know,
Blows my
I know
mind, eh?
Scientology. I know Scientology is definitely something to do with aliens and all that sort of stuff. But
Yeah. I've
I've
heard it
never
along
looked it up. I've never
the
researched
line.
it. But
No.
yeah,
That's
I've
it.
never.
That's it. Xeno or something like that. You read articles, especially with stuff like that and the paranormal, and you try and put these two things together, and it's like, oh, okay, some people are going to believe this, others are going to believe that. So how does it all fit together?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, guys, this has been a fantastic show. A little rough there in the middle, but we got
Sorry,
it
guys.
out and we got you back.
Yep.
Real quick, where can we all find you? We have Pam has the link for your YouTube channel. Where else can we find you guys?
Best
Go
way to do
Deadpool.
it. Best way to do it is go into Google, type in Night Watchers Paranormal Australia, and it'll give you all the links. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can find us on YouTube. Obviously, that's our channel.
Mhm.
But yeah, guys, if you can, jump over to YouTube and subscribe. And we'd love to have you there. Thank you.
That reminds me too. We also have a Facebook group called Night Watchers Paranormal Australia. So go check out our group. We started this group maybe I think it was 3 years ago. We're up to nearly 7,000 members on the group.
Nice.
But with this group, Dan and I have made it our mission. We've got a good set of mods working in that group, controlling it for us.
Couple of them watching now.
Where every single person is entitled to their opinion. There's no bullying, no belittling. And the minute we catch it, or one of our mods do, you're kicked. You're not welcome. And that's important for us, that everyone has a feeling. I had an experience really quickly that I was a part of this group, paranormal group, and a lady had just lost her partner. It was really sad. And she started seeing orbs. And these group members tore her a new one, saying, no, it was horrible. So we were doing Night Watches at the time, and really just belittled this lady. And that's why Dan and I decided to make this group, so people have that safe place to actually talk about paranormal, talk about how they feel and their emotions and stuff like that.
I've got to give Pete the credit here. I'm going to give Pete the 100% credit. He came to me with that one, and I said, mate, and he said exactly that to me, and I said, mate, do it. Let's do it, So kudos to you, brother. Your heart's gold. Yeah.
And that's what all these shows are about. I mean, everything's a safe place. We don't stand for any negative comments or anything. And on all of our platforms we do that the same thing. So safe place. Believe what you want to believe. and all that stuff. So,
Yep.
guys, we're gonna have to get out of here. So I appreciate you guys joining us tonight, or this morning, or wherever you guys are at.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And sorry about that technical issue with my phone, but we got it sorted at least. So
It happens.
I knew Pete would have it. I knew he'd have it handled, so it's all good, brother. So it works out well because I'm always the one doing all the podcasts. He never gets a chance to do them.
That's awesome.
You guys are great. Thank you.
Hang on.
Thanks for having us.
Guys, don't go away right yet. We're going to say goodbye. Guys, have a great night. We have Donny Cho coming up right after this. Then don't forget you have Late Night with BMR at 11 o'clock Central, midnight in the East.
And I'll be on that one tonight.
And she'll be on that one. So to see more of Krista, see another episode with Krista on it. Just anyway, see you guys. Have a great week. We'll see you. I'll see you next Tuesday. So see you guys.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution.